Hey guys, it's Nick with Chestnut Hills Farmstead. I'm back for just this one video. I'm still not off the long hours at work yet, but I've got to update you on a situation we had here at the farm. We canceled our live this past Wednesday because we had a pretty major farm emergency. Let's take a look at what we had going on.
Oh my God, the pasture has been on fire.
Guys!
Oh wow. Hold on, Rhett. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Let's go see. I know, I see.
Guys!
Rhett.
That is not good.
No, it's not. Come on, we gotta keep going.
We can't put alpacas in our alpacas. Our alpacas won't be in a pen, so they'll be fun and somewhere over there.
Yeah, we're gonna put them in the hard pen.
Okay.
Oh my word. It has burned all the way up to the bees. Chance, I want you to go up there and check on the donkeys for me. Let's go see what the police have to say. Hold on. Hold on. They're turning that way. Well, there's our alpaca pasture. The fire's leaving because there's a structure fire that they've got to get to. But the woods are still on fire. So I'm not sure what's going to happen now. All we can do is keep going and see. We got dozers back in there. We got fire back here. Mackenzie's gone to check on the bees because it did make it all the way up to the front where the bees are. Oh gosh, y'all. You can't see, but there's the dozer over at the neighbor's. This is our power line that we show you guys a lot that separate us from the house that we love so much. And they are back in there breaking it apart. They'll be over here shortly. We got lots of smoldering going on over here. Trying to make sure my shoes don't melt. We got fires everywhere, but look, there they are. They're coming on through. Yeah, I know, it's still burning down here. Be careful though, because the ground's been burned, it's gonna be hot. There's no telling how long it's been going. Here they come. Right back. Well, he's made it to our side. Luckily, we have our fire break we installed a few years ago that he's going to be able to get to it with. Well, the only thing we can do now is just let them clean out the fire breaks and let it burn. That's all we can do at this point. Okay, so as you see, our alpaca pasture, it has gone all the way up to the bees. The bees have been surrounded. The forestry is down in the woods because the woods are still burning heavily. But it did not get down here. So it has stayed up here and all in the woods. But it did get the tractor. Well, it got under the tractor. But it doesn't look like it did anything to it, which is a huge blessing. This is a valuable piece of equipment on our farm. No wonder the alpacas were running when we got here, because they were trying to escape the fire, which stopped just short of the other animal pen.
Guys, if you look, it's burned along this edge. It's come all the way around. And then you've got this burning over here. It's just kind of weird. Nothing's tied to it. And nothing back here is burned. It's just burned to here. It's very erratic. I was just talking to the wildfire response, and he noted it too, that it's very erratic. It didn't burn, and it spread from one place. Now, I'm not saying anything definite, but I don't know, it looks weird. It looks like it started in several different places. It's been very dry. It's supposed to rain tonight and in the morning. But I'm gonna keep walking through because I don't see anywhere that fire ties in. The dozer's back behind there working right now. But we've got a couple of good fires still. It burned up this way. And I'm on the other side of what I was just showing you. I'm gonna walk in and see if it burned back up the hill or something, but I'm not seeing any fire connecting that. Yeah, it looks like it might have burned in from the back side somewhere. We still got a lot of heavy fire back here. Not on the pasture side. We'll go update you on that in a minute, because we got really blessed on where some of this fire went in the pasture. I don't know if y'all can see that, but we were really blessed on things that the fire missed in areas that it went through. There's where the state just brought in a new fire break. He tied into our old fire break down there on the back side. We've still got this whole area burning here. This is where we talked about clearing out to put our pond, but it looks like everything is burning in from the back side of our property. So we still have no idea what happened yet.
All right, so we came up here where we've talked about putting a house many times. You can see all the smoke back there. And they've started putting in a fire break. So what they're doing is they are dozing all the way around the property to keep it from spreading, because it did come up past that road right there that we use so often. It did come that far. I actually stopped my car where the fire stopped from this far. So let's walk around. We're gonna check on the bees. We're gonna check on the donkeys. I know the donkeys are fine. All right, we're gonna walk this fire break and go check on the bees.
Where's the fire break?
This is where they put the dirt.
What's the fire break though?
That's what this is. It keeps the fire from jumping and spreading all over.
Big clumps of dirt.
Yeah.
We have one back.
All right, donkey pasture is unfazed. Thank goodness. The neighbor's house seems to be okay. It's just all the property behind it. Come on, Rhett. Oh my goodness. It burned all the way to here. Y'all, this is crazy.
Look, guys, there's still fire.
Yeah, there's lots of fire still. Y'all look, it's starting to get dark out here. Look at this. Do y'all see that square? It burned all around the bees, but it did not burn between the bees. Wow.
Mama, Mama, come here. Look, it burned back.
Look at this. Yeah, I don't know if the bees, I'm sure the bees are okay. Well, the bees weren't directly affected, but they were very much indirectly affected. So, as y'all see, it burned completely around them and never touched a single box. If that's not a God thing, I don't know what is. Well, we've jokingly said we wanted to burn out from under this tree many times. We've even talked about burning the pastures. We definitely did not mean on accident. I see more fires starting up. Let's go check on that. There's still some burning under this tree. See it, Rat? Under there?
Yeah, I saw it. I told y'all.
There's still a little bitty fire. It looks like he must have it kind of contained. Oh, here he comes. I better get out of the way.
Yeah, it's dark. You can't really see anything, but the Dozer is up there cleaning up the fire break a little bit. Forestry's headed out. There's no real reason to try to get in here with water and put it out and all that good stuff. There's a fire break all the way around it. But I want to show you where he added fire break here. It's burning right to the edge of it, and we're just going to let it go. There's a good fire break around. There's a good fire break on the neighbor's side. And y'all know we do control burns for this reason, to avoid this. And we didn't get to do a very good one last year. I guess in a few weeks we'll tie this video in together with another one, because I had planned on doing a control burn video. Well, this is the reason for it right here. Yep, I got a call from my neighbor. I was still at work. I get a call that says, your farm and the woods behind my house are on fire. And she wasn't home either. Her kids had called and told her what was going on. She said, the fire department's on the way and forestry's on the way, but y'all better get out here. So at the same time, I had received a missed call from Zoe. The neighbor had already reached her, and Zoe was on the way out here, and she pulled up at the gate about the same time forestry did. Now, you saw on the video everything that was going on. I don't know how much you could actually tell about it, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a daylight look at what all happened and just how blessed and we were, and the miraculous outcome of what could have been a tragic situation. Guys, this is the alpaca pasture. I know the sun's gonna glare. I'm gonna skip by that. The fire was back that way, but it had burned all up through this pasture. And forgive me for the sun, guys. We have got some wire that's a little damaged from it. But it burned out this way. It did not go beyond where the garden is. It stopped kind of on this hill. But Zoe had stopped the tractor right here. It burned all the way around it. The fire's way out in front of it, all the way around this side, and even under it. It burned all the way around and did not damage the tires, the plastic on the tractor, didn't melt anything. All the hoses are good. Even got some sage still standing there under it. Well, let's walk out here, show you some more. I got back here so y'all wouldn't have to deal with that glare from the sun. None of that's burned. Burned in here. I don't know if you can see that wire. The post that she had the electric on are melted and over. There's a wire down. I know you can see it drooping right there. But it burned all through the alpaca pasture. And through here. But guys, this is all dry sage. None of this is burned. But it burned. I'm trying to get you past the sun. All this is burned really good. But it burned on up the hill around the bees and up there into the corner. We'll look at that in a minute. Now I'm showing you this 2 days later because yesterday it was raining. We had rain moving in the night that it happened, which was Wednesday. We had rain supposed to move in Wednesday night into Thursday morning. And we came out and fed. Zoe had to make the chores kind of quick because we had the boys' football banquet last night. I'm filming this on Friday. But we've still got stuff down here smoldering. And we've had an addition to the fire break. And I know I showed you some of this the other night as it was happening. Let me show you where we think things got started. All right, so up that hill is burned very sporadically. You can see sage still standing. That's because it just burned different areas. We had boxes and things here, and Zoe had pulled this tree up, and I was going to cut it up and add it to our brush pile. This was so that we could have our bonfire for our football boys, or potentially have one. But all of our material that we wanted to have under the wood was all burned. Over here is where I showed y'all the shooting house and the stack of fence posts. This is all of our fencing stuff. You've heard about the farm junk piles. Well, this is where all of our fencing stuff is stored. We had about 10 posts right here. They're all gone. The shooting house is gone. But these posts right next to it didn't burn. Thankfully, our big post there didn't burn. But out in there is where I showed you that fire burning that wasn't connected to anything. And we burned up there. Behind that tree is the bee boxes. It's burned all around it, but not the stuff in between here. All right, so there's the road up toward the bees. You can see where the fire burned through there and around through here. And nothing. And it's still burning down there along the power line. That's inside the fire break. But then, here's my neighbor's part. This is the barn and pasture that we lease. This is right along our property line. All this is burned down in the bottom. Some of it's still smoldering over there. And he cut a fire break down in on the other side of that too with the dozer. The point of showing you all this is the fact that you can see how erratic everything was. And our brush pile wasn't ready to burn yet. We weren't ready for that. But forestry seems to think that it actually started there. But it didn't spread into the woods and to our neighbors from there. You see, none of it's connected. Now, it was windy, and he said it could have been blowing some embers around and starting little fires. But he really felt like it was more likely that somebody lit the brush pile and set several other small fires. I'm no fire investigator, but he still said embers are a possibility, but it would have to be pretty good fire going and the winds start blowing the embers. The only problem is all the embers went in different directions, and he was talking about the way the wind was blowing, which direction, and it just didn't add up. So let's walk on down and look and see what's still burning. I've walked down the power line. One side's burned, one side's not. Only halfway. Now, he did say that when he got here, the fire department was set up on top of that hill and was spraying part of this out. But it had burned up the backside of this hill. The brush pile is up there. And the fire back here was not connected to the two, but all the hill behind it is. And the wind was blowing in the direction of downhill. So, you tell me. But it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Now, we've just got a stump back here still smoldering. But, guys, if you remember, and this was the exact same operator that did it initially. This was our fire break. Now, granted, we had not cleaned our fire break out. It wasn't time. We weren't ready to burn yet. So this is our fire break. And the fire was on the other side of it, down into that bottom. So he cut a new fire break up that hill. You can see where the dozer went, and he went in on the other side of that little wet area and cut all the way around and back out to our pasture to make sure that they had a good perimeter around this thing and had it contained. But even after all that rain, and 2 days later, we're still going to have stumps and things smoldering, and those could go for a week. Who knows? Maybe longer. We're going to have some additional cleaning to do when we do clean out our fire break for our control burns, but this is one area we won't have to do. That's the other side of our fire break there. But it's just very erratic, so I know this part was probably the wind whipping it around. But there's where he came through with the new fire break back there. All of this is pretty thoroughly burned. But there's still good news here, guys. The good news here is the fact that we probably would have burned this anyway. I would have liked to have known when it was going to happen and been in control of it. But we would have burned this area to prevent things from happening like what happened Wednesday. We've explained that anytime that we've burned on our farm, that you do it in a controlled manner so that there's not fuel on the ground. There's not a buildup. You do it in a controlled manner. You know when it happened. You do it with the right weather conditions, the right equipment, the right amount of help, and it doesn't get away from you. And you prevent these wildfires like this. Now, it's on us that we didn't get this burned last year. But, luckily, thankfully, and miraculously, we didn't lose any equipment. We didn't lose any structure. And even more importantly, we didn't lose any animals. So here's where he came from behind the fire and tied into our existing fire break. This that you see cleared out right here is the one that was already here. He was behind it here, and he just basically made an intersection with our existing fire break, got it all tied together, and then went back up the hill to the pasture. So we actually have an additional road now. How it burned right up to the edge of them, all the way around, but never touched the bees. But let me walk up here and show you how far it came on the top of the hill. Jack's ready for me to come see him. It burned up here on the top of the hill where we showed you we thought about putting the house. It burned this side, and it stopped where they had the dove field. But guys, that's right in line where our other paddocks where the animals were. You can see the alpacas right there. Their pasture burned around the tractor. Up here it burned further, but not where the animals were. So guys, I don't know how well you can see it at this time of day, But I want you to take a good look at a fall pasture. This is the parts that didn't get burned. As dry as it's been, that could have gone up in a matter of minutes. So I hope that little walkthrough better explains what I've been saying when you see us do controlled burns as to why, what we're trying to prevent. Now, I see you. I've seen your comments hammering these farms doing controlled burns. What about people with asthma or difficulty breathing and different things? And I get that. But that's why you do it under the right weather conditions, the right winds, at the right time of year to control all that. You do it in smaller portions to prevent these wildfires. Our state thankfully still does these on state-owned lands and national forests. They still do this to prevent these wildfires like this. The areas that you see no longer doing controlled burns have wildfires where they're losing structures, they're losing entire towns, and they're losing lives. And even on something small like this, had it not been contained, those firefighters that were out here, the wildfire response from the state, it's dangerous for them. So we don't want that risk to them. We don't want the risk to our property, our structures, our farm, or our animals. So that's why we do it. And I'm hoping that is a better example of why. And that you'll understand a little bit better about why these farms are trying to maintain their properties like that in areas that they're allowed to, so that you don't have it happen when you're not ready. So think about this. What if this happened at a different time of day or under different winds? I just showed you what our pasture looks like. This entire pasture could have burned. It never made it into the two paddocks where the animals are confined. The alpaca pasture, the gate was open for them to go into the other paddock because that's where the hay is. It did not burn any of those areas. So had they been confined, would we have lost our alpacas? If it had gone further, we could have lost all of our structures, our animals, all of our equipment, and everything. So you want to call it lucky? You call it what you want to. I call it extremely blessed. We want to be on our farm full time, but we've told you that we just don't feel like it's God's plan yet. Well, his hand was definitely on this when he kept us from losing any equipment, anything. You call it whatever you want. So I know our last video was kind of drama-free, and we were thankful that, man, nothing bad happened. We'll just have to go with it and hope that people will still watch. Well, we brought our drama back just for one more video. Guys, thank you for being with us. I promise you, you're going to see some more controlled burn videos in the next couple of months. We're gonna be doing that, and we have proof as to why we need to. We hope you'll stick around with us. Guys, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we hope you'll be back with us at Chestnut Hills Farmstead.